Hi guys, welcome to the live stream. In this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about a pet peeve with some of these cheap Amazon sold microphones out there. Now, there's nothing particularly bad about these microphones. It's just there's certain things about it that I think are deceiving, and it it bothers me to see YouTubers promote these products when I think they are deceptive. And the worst example of that type of microphone would be this popular guy. This often goes by the name of the BM-800 on YouTube or Amazon. On Amazon in Canada, it often goes by the name of NW800, but it goes by the name of, you know, there's dozens of these things, different colors, different shapes, different sizes, different packages, and they're all really rather cheap, $25, $40, $30. Um, and you know, it's it's infuriating for so many reasons. You go on YouTube and someone will probably demonstrate a microphone like this, and they make it sound fantastic. You go on Amazon and you buy what you think is the closest version or the same version to what you think they're using. But what you actually end up getting is a different microphone. It just looks the same, but inside is kind of like mystery meat. And I ran into that problem where I bought some of these and they were actually internally different. And that's kind of depressing um, because there is no real way to quality control what you're getting with the you could potentially try to, for example, go with a microphone that has a high rating. And in this particular case, that is actually a real microphone. That is a large diaphragm microphone by a well-known brand. But, you know, Newer, or whatever you want to pronounce it, is again a popular brand, except they're known for making kind of like generic no-name stuff. Um, Sometimes that's good enough, but you really don't know what you're getting, especially when that company makes so many different variations with different colors, different shapes. You don't really know what you're getting when you buy that. And it's these microphones that are very popular in on YouTube and things like that. People promoting it saying $25, click my Amazon referral link and buy it today. Drives me nuts. Okay. And let me explain partly why it drives me nuts next. This is what is inside one of these microphones. Mine's the NW800. This is the BM-800. And it looks to me inside virtually the same as what I got. I like to first point out the first really terrifying thing is they advertise this as a condenser microphone. And they're not 100% lying because this little capsule is a condenser capsule. It is a electric, I don't know how you pronounce it exactly, but it is not a true condenser microphone capsule. Normally, a condenser capsule is about an inch in diameter. Circle looks like it's plated in gold. And those microphones generally start around $200. More recently, they go for around $100. I have a couple, they're $300 each. This little silver guy is 5 cents, 10 cents. I have, this little thing here, it's even smaller than that, but it's the same thing, right? This little guy was like $1, and it's a very high quality small one, but you can go on a site like DigiKey and see for yourself how much they cost, from a penny to $5 per capsule. So the most expensive capsule I can find is about $5, and you can be probably rest assured that that's between like 5 cents and like 25 cents, let's say, per capsule. And that's all you need. Everything else is kind of show. They used to sell these microphones in the dollar stores of the world as like computer PC microphones that you would have on your desk made of plastic. Very popular in the 90s and early 2000s. They came with new computers. It's that microphone capsule. This is perhaps a newer technology in them, but it's the same type of design, same cheap quality that sells at the dollar store. If you go to the dollar store and I say whatever dollar store you have, the pound store or whatever it might be, and you buy one of these microphones, the desktop PC ones or the ones that clip onto your shirt for $1, they'll have that type of capsule inside of them. So when you buy one of these things, you don't know what's in here. It could be a dollar store microphone packaged as a $30 kit with all these cheap accessories, these cheap windscreens, these cheap boom arms and things like that, that no professional would use, but it looks like you're getting a lot of value. Okay, so the first issue is they are deceiving you because they're making this big plastic faux diaphragm. It makes it look like if you hold it up to the light, if you don't want to unscrew the thing and you just hold it up to the light, it looks like an actual 1-inch diaphragm. It looks like something high quality, but when you open it up, you're being lied to. Okay, that's the first complaint. The second complaint, I think, is a lot less forgivable, in my opinion, a lot less forgiving, and that is this red board here. This board takes in voltage. You generally need to supply 7 volts or more, and it drop down that voltage to around 4 or 5 volts. So if you output, I don't know why my internet just suddenly went red. Yeah, it was pretty nightmarish. Okay, I think I just lost internet for a second. Anyways, so this red board, you bring in a voltage and it drops it down to the voltage the microphone needs. These cheap little capsules run on between 2 and 5 volts. Okay, 2 to 5 volts. Most of them are probably 3 volts average. And why this is offensive is if you just have a PC sound card, green and red input, some laptops have them these days. Most old laptops would have them. Your smartphone has one built in technically as like a dual use jack. You just need some type of a splitter, an adapter to make it work. Or a desktop. Most desktops still have a dedicated mic port, and that mic out port on PCs, on phones, on laptops output 3 volts of power, roughly. So if you plug a normal lapel microphone like the one I'm using here, and I'm using a lapel microphone right now that I got off Amazon for $10, and you plug that into your computer, it just works. Your computer will provide the power. If you plug it into your phone will provide the power, and you'll get a nice clean signal. There's a little tiny amplifier in this capsule that's being powered, and it will amplify the signal for you. So you don't need a fancy preamp. It kind of has the preamp built in. And if you have a high quality one, you get a signal that's created that's very low noise. So what I'm getting at here though is if I try to plug this thing into a regular sound card, it won't work. It is expecting like 48 volts or 20 volts of power to come in and power it, and it will drop it down to 3 volts. If you put in 3 volts, it will drop it down to like 1 volt. And 1 volt is not enough to power the capsule. And so if you try to plug this into a normal PC sound card, it will not have enough power to come out loud and clean. It will be very quiet and very noisy. To get 48 volts, what do? You go to Amazon here and they sell this NW30, what is it? This thing right here, this black box, they sell this blue box here. They sell you a power adapter to output 48 volts to the microphone. The comedy here is hilarious because if you didn't use that blue box and if you got rid of that red circuit board in the microphone, you could just plug it into your computer. But instead they sell you something to make 48 volts, and then inside the microphone they drop it back down to 3 volts. So they somehow are getting $40, $50 out of you for what is a $5, $10 lapel microphone, right? I find that funny. Now let's say you don't buy one of these things. You still need an XLR cable, right? You still need some sort of XLR output. So you still end up needing to buy something like a Scarlett Solo preamp to plug the XLR input into, let's say. Or you need to have the cable that it comes with, let's say, in some of these cases. This cable is XLR to XLR. So this particular cable wouldn't even work. You need an XLR to 3.5 to plug it into your computer. So you buy this kit, you then have to buy a USB preamp. So let's say USB preamp, and you have to spend at least $80, $60, $70 for the bare minimum. So you buy that microphone for 40 bucks, then you spend, or 30, whatever, 30, 40 bucks, then you spend another $70, $80 on the cheapest preamp you can find. $100 on something that is, the same as a lapel mic. It's going to sound the same as my lapel mic. And I prefer my lapel mic over this. This is all show, it's all bling. And you then need all this in your face stuff. And it's not even bling because people know that this is a cheap microphone. It's been advertised on Amazon as a cheap microphone. So you're not going to really look very impressive to anyone who knows the first thing about audio equipment, which may not be everyone, but I'm pointing out the fact that this is not a cool microphone to own, in my opinion. Okay. Now, those are the two biggest sins, I think, with this particular microphone. But you can still find value in it. If you get lucky, if you buy one that sounds good and you have a preamp and you're willing to go through that cost or an effort, $100 for a decent sounding microphone is not a horrible ripoff. I think you'd be better off with a lapel mic or a USB microphone that you can just plug directly into your computer, like a snowball or something like that. But that's up to you. For me, I bought this because it was a fun toy to buy. For me, 30, 40 bucks. The shock mount alone is normally $10. So I got myself a shock mount and a toy for not much money. But I didn't stop there. I opened up my microphone and people mod these microphones. This is not this microphone in exactly, but I wanted to bring up this very expensive microphone, for example, to showcase how similar it looks to this inside. It has the, that proper 1-inch true condenser true condenser diaphragm on it. And you can build your own microphone like this and stick it in. And then you don't have to buy, a case. And it will sound perhaps really nice. That's a cool option. You buy this for 30 bucks, you get the shock mount, you get the case, you gut what's inside, and you turn it into a much better microphone. That's cool. And I respect that. And I think there's probably a community who's doing that now. Uh, for me, what I have done is I have modified this. So you might notice that there's no XLR output. It is a um, just a regular cable, and it goes to a 3.5 output port. And what I did is I took a microphone I made in a previous video. In a previous video, I showed how to make a lapel microphone for $5, $10, let's say. And it's better than the one I'm wearing now, but the one I made in that video, I actually put in this. So what I did is I took this microphone, I took the silver piece out, I unscrewed the red piece, and I instead replaced it all with my lapel microphone. So I put the lapel microphone in that little circle because it fit perfectly. I then just pulled the wire out, and then I hot glued everything together, kind of loosely at least, so the wire would not rattle at all. And this is what I have. Okay, this now cost me, there's 30 bucks for the microphone off Amazon, and then $10 to make the lapel microphone that's inside of this thing. It's like $4 in parts plus the shipping, which is why it was like $10 to make. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in and replace the lapel microphone I'm having right now to show you how it sounds. Now, I am going to unplug this. It might make a noise. I apologize. Okay. And one of the first things I noticed is it is a louder microphone than my lapel mic. Uh, Whatever. Now the lapel mic is off and this is on. One thing that this microphone, the microphone on screen, fails at is it's a cardioid direction microphone. It picks up volume in one direction. That is useful. It rejects background noise. I like that. The microphone, though, does not have any marking on it, though, to know which way is front. So you don't know which direction to point into on that microphone. You have to either test or unscrew it and mark it like I did on early tests of this microphone. I had to unscrew it, figure out which way it pointed so I could speak into it correctly. But when I made my lav mic, I made a lav mic that was omnidirectional, which meant it picks up sound in every direction. And I put it in this. And so now when I speak into it, I can speak into it from any direction and it still works fine. I can even speak into it like this. So it still sounds fine. Another thing I did is when I purchased this microphone, uh, the little capsule I bought off DigiKey for $5, I made sure I bought one that had plosive protection. So the Amazon microphone, you need a pop filter because it will pick up plosives like these loud pops and wind noises. But the microphone I put in here is, I guess, designed for things like smartphones. You know, when you speak into a smartphone, there's no plosives or very few. So the technology for that is kind of built into this particular microphone now. So I don't need a pop filter. I can speak pretty closely to it and I don't get a whole lot of plosives. And if I'm looking to reduce background noise, I can just speak very close to this microphone and turn down the gain. I don't need a directional microphone to do that with this. I just have to speak closer. Um, Another thing is because it's 3.5 powered, I'm running this through a sound card and it comes through loud and clean. I don't need phantom power. I don't need a special preamp. I gutted that little red board out and so now it works the way it should work. It's this big fancy thing. It's all show. I don't need even the shock mount on this device. It's there purely for show, which I find hilarious because if I just rip the microphone out, I can clip it to my shirt and just use it as a lapel mic. But it's the same general concept as what it was before. It's the same type of technology in this microphone. Um, because I didn't spend a lot of money on a USB preamp, obviously I'm saving lots of money there. But it's easy to think that if you buy a fancy preamp, you might be able to reduce the noise on this and make it sound better. But that's not really true. These little capsules have the preamplifier built into it. That's where the power is going. It's going into the capsule to power it, amongst other things. But the signal that comes out of that little capsule is already amplified. So any noise that gets into the signal happens in that capsule. Most of it gets in. By putting that signal into a fancy preamp, you are not going to be able to reduce the noise. If you're just going to increase the noise, like it's the noise is already in the signal. So by having a fancy preamp, you're not really helping. I hope that makes some sense. So when you put a cheap capsule in one of these things and it creates noise, or you don't provide enough power to it and it creates noise, putting this into a fancy high-end preamp is not going to help reduce the noise. Um, the microphone I bought here is extremely, extremely quiet. It is going to amplify the signal very loud, so my sound card does not need to work well. So this little cheap sound card, you can buy them for like $5 off Amazon. It does not need to be very good because this little microphone that I purchased, and I show you which one I purchased in a previous video, kind of makes up for the fact that this is garbage, and it amplifies a very loud, clean signal, and it sounds really nice, right? Anyways, I'm kind of emotionally frustrated, but I don't want to say buying the Amazon BM-800 is a bad microphone, but it's so deceptive that it, it it's irritating. Now, if you understand what it is and you purchase informed, like if you're informed and you make the purchase, that's fine. I'm not saying don't buy it. I'm saying know what you're getting and understand that you're actually perhaps spending more on less than just buying a lapel mic on Amazon for $10. If you don't have a good sound card, right, um, buy a battery powered lapel mic and it will, bypass the need for any power from this at all. And those are $20 and, they'll run for days on a battery. So yeah. Anyways, I guess the last little bit of frustration I have is I see YouTubers advertising these microphones on their channel, promoting them, saying how good they are, and then they slip in the Amazon affiliate link. And to me, that just makes them kind of like a shill. They're selling you a product and they're taking a kickback for that product, and they really just want you to buy it. Not all of them, of course, sorry, but it just perpetuates the problem. Um, yeah, I'm not going to offer any affiliate links. I try to avoid doing that. I provide this information just for fun to you guys. Um, I hope the sound of this microphone is pleasant to you. Again, I show you how to make the lapel mic. It's really just 2 minutes of soldering in another video, and you can just stick it into this microphone. It's a few screws and you're done. And if you do that, you can have a really rather nice sounding microphone for like $60-$50 total. And that might actually be a better option than going to buy a USB preamp or buying a USB microphone or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, the reality is these microphones that come in these packages, I've already lost it, it's so small. These really inexpensive, cheap microphones are actually really good. Um, really good. Like my fancy Shure SM7B only sounds slightly better than this little guy, and it doesn't need nearly as much equipment to operate. Like this thing doesn't cost anything to operate. The Shure SM7B I have here is like $2,000 of equipment, and it doesn't even sound good half the time. Uh, so yeah, I'm not against the type of um, microphone that's in here, but because it looks expensive, people are buying it, and because it sounds okay, they're making a big deal out of it almost. And to me, it's just, anyways. I think you get my point. I appreciate you listening to me ramble for the last half hour. I I just want everyone to understand that this is a dishonest microphone to buy. Um, there's so many things here that are just selling you on deception, and I just want you to know that. If you're okay with that, buy it. Go by all means. But even if you buy it, you don't know that you're going to be getting a high quality version of the microphone. To me, it's hit and miss. Um, but yeah, okay. Uh, that's it, guys. Have a good night. Thank you for watching my live stream.